Why are you so tense? God damn it!
Because I don't know what I'm doing!
Calm down.
Well guys, Philly Kuts. I wanted to talk to you guys about Sony and E3. Just got done watching the conference with Choi, or the Expo, and I thought Sony's performance was pretty good. They had some interesting things. I was disappointed that there was no Vita price drop, which was kind of disappointing, so I'm probably going to still sit on the fence on that system and probably not get it. It's just too much. But they did announce a PlayStation Vita Assassin's Creed 3 bundle. I forget the rest of the name of the game, but it's an Assassin's Creed 3 offshoot. It takes place in New Orleans, and it's actually in 1765. And the assassin is actually a female, so that's pretty cool. They also showed some cool PS3 footage of Assassin's Creed 3 in the form of some ship battles, and those were pretty intense, over the top. I thought those were awesome. The graphics looked really good, the water graphics were insane, and it just looked really interesting, so it's kind of piqued my interest in Assassin's Creed 3. They kept touting cross, platform functioning between the Vita and the PS3. One of the things that they did highlight was the ability of the PS Vita to be used as an enhanced controller with your PlayStation 3. Similar to what Microsoft announced earlier about using various devices, such as a tablet or your phone, to be used as an enhanced controller of sorts to use with their 360 console. So I think that what that really exemplifies is the power that Nintendo has over the rest of the industry and the innovation that they have. Because obviously with their new console coming out, the Wii U, they have such an influence over the other two consoles with their controller. And if you know anything about the Wii U, you know that their controller is basically like a tablet style controller. So they're definitely influencing Sony and Microsoft 360, which I thought was very, very interesting. I don't want to get into a whole thing where, well, they're all just biting off one another, they're biting off this, they're biting off that. All I can say is that it's definitely an influence. But I think that's okay. I think as long as the gaming companies influence one another, it will make things better as a whole, because they'll keep pushing each other. And Nintendo always seems to be one of the leaders in innovation, maybe not graphically, but certainly in, gameplay functioning. Another thing that was evident of Nintendo plagiarism was the clips for Battle Royale All-Stars for the PS3, which is essentially they're using their PS3 franchise characters just like Nintendo did with Super Smash Brothers Melee. So I didn't get too excited by that because I just couldn't get past the influence that Nintendo has had over that game, obviously. It looked alright, the graphics looked cool. I thought the battles went very, very long for it. The voice commentator over the gameplay for Battle Royale kept talking about level 1, level 2 attacks, and it just seemed like that the battles went on for a very, very long time. It was a 4-player battle, but I thought there were a lot better things than that in the conference. Another cool thing that they did show was this book that was interactive with the PlayStation Eye and the Move controller. And essentially, you would open the book, and on your television screen, things would show up popping out of the book. Dragons would come flying out, pop-up castles. You were able to be interactive with your wand, casting spells, fire spells. It was interesting. It seemed like there were some hiccups, there were some glitches with that software. So it seems like they have a ways to go to work on that. Nonetheless, it was an interesting concept, so I'll hope to see how they go with it. I think it was called Wonder Book, but I may be wrong. I'm trying to do this all on memory, so I don't have notes in front of me. Then another big thing they showed was footage for God of War Ascension, which was awesome. I really thought that they started to tone down the violence a bit. There was, blood spattering, and Kratos did seem to move a lot quicker than in God of War 3. But then it came to a scene where Kratos actually started to debrain, literally, an elephant creature. Sort of looked like a minotaur creature, but with an elephant head. He literally was stabbing and stabbing and stabbing and stabbing it, and then he cracked like its skull open, and you could literally see the elephant's brain pulsating. And I was like, well, looks like maybe they didn't tone down the violence in that. Also, another cool game that they showed was Beyond, and that was by Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream were the developers behind Heavy Rain. It looked really cool story line. But the facial expressions in that game looked phenomenal. I think that they may even be up to par or even better than what LA Noire put out last year with the facial expressions, which was really cool. However, what they basically showed of this movie Beyond was basically just basically like a movie trailer, kind of, because they didn't show any gameplay footage at all. So it really just looked like a movie trailer, which really piqued my interest, because there's some mystery now as to how the game's going to play. Is it going to play like Heavy Rain, where you're just going to be pushing buttons and doing, joystick movements? Or is it going to be, more interactive than that? So I thought that was really interesting as well. Another thing that I thought was pretty interesting was that they finished the show with Last of Us, which kind of looks like survival horror meets Drake's Uncharted series. And it's by the same developer, Naughty Dog, as the Uncharted series, so of course it's expected that it's gonna look quite similar, but it looked like very visceral, very polished. It just made you excited and made your heart pound, and I just really, maybe someone who will become a first adapter. Those of you who watch my channel know that I don't really buy games on launch day. I usually wait for them to go down in price and wait for deals, because you usually don't have to wait that long. But I think that the way that this game looked really excited me. I really like the interplay between the protagonists. You have about a guy in his 30s, similar to Drake in Uncharted, and he's with a female companion who looks to be about maybe 12 to 15 years old. And they showed a really cool sequence where they were interacting in a battle. The male protagonist was pinned down in a gun battle, and the girl helped him out by shouting, "Hey, fuckhead," or something like that. "Hey, asshole," and it distracted the non-PC villain, and the male protagonist was able to, sink the headshot. So I thought that was really cool, and I think that would make it for a real interesting experience if throughout the game those two are going to be interacting throughout. So overall, if I had a rate so far between Sony and Microsoft as to who had a better E3 so far, I'm going to put Sony number one and then Microsoft below. I'm anxiously waiting to see what Nintendo reveal more about the Wii U. I can't wait to see some gameplay footage and find out what some of the launch titles are going to be, because without a doubt Nintendo is definitely influencing both Microsoft and Sony with their controller design. I mean, you can't argue that fact. There's no defense for it, so we'll see. I really look forward to Nintendo's conference tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think, all right? Peace. I'm home. Time to do some Alco Pop reviews.